And hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Being Healthy live stream. So, what do we mean by being healthy? Well, the reason why my book is called Being Healthy, this is a companion podcast to it. And I have a course that I just created, also Being Healthy, that supports this live stream and the book and everybody who participates in this. And one of the main things, one of the main areas of our lives that I think we need to continually work on in being healthy is actually parenting. Whether we mean parenting children that have been born to us or adopted by us now, whether it's our nieces and nephews or little cousins, or whether it's reparenting ourselves. And I see reparenting ourselves as the first and most necessary parameter or the first and most important condition for parenting children. I think reparenting ourselves is really, really important. So the first question I would ask today, and right now we have Pete from the UK, one of our actual co-hosts here. Pete, if you were to reparent yourself right here, right now, at this moment, how would you do it?
Wow, put me on the spot there. Very similar to how I did 17 years ago. I realized all the things that I found was more toxic, I would say, in terms of foods. I realized the sort of habitual bad habits I had. I would aspire to get rid of them as one by one or as soon as I could. And also not give myself a hard time about certain things I might flip flop back and forth. I had a practice. I would find a practice. I was really blown away that I found Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu, where I could truly heal myself. They call it the grandmother of acupuncture, and it's very similar, you could say, to acupuncture, but you're just not putting the needles in, so you're putting your hands on. And that was miraculous. So finding protocols to clear my body, my system, so you can nurture the body that's, for me back then, that had been unknowingly really abused. Looking back in retrospect, we do so many things that we feel are okay, that is normal, or we believe is normal, but then in retrospect I look back and it's just like very abnormal. So I did work on myself over the few years. I chose the raw food diet, juicing, smoothing. I chose some protocols, cleansing my body, cleanse different detox cleanses. I could say like a car going for a service for a full on, or even I was in the car trade, car body restoration. So car body. So it's like bringing it to my body. Okay, how can I use that theory to my body? Literally. So we could use other theories that we are more familiar with, each individual, but in terms of a car and a service and an MOT, everything has to be, work on it, getting it up to spick and span, so it's worthy to be on the road. So this it would be really good if we had something like that on our body, so we can allow the nurturing to go on. So what I realized over a couple of years, it felt like my little child was coming out. Another analogy or a feeling I had was I was being tested by my child. It's just like, I've abused it for so long. So just a weekend or two strengths, month, a year, 2 years, I recognized it took me about 2 years of constant discipline of that. And I really felt this inner child, spirit, whatever we would like to call it, more embodied in me. They're words, they're words we use here, but that's what I would use. So I found protocols that really served me, nurtured me. I did saunas. I did what else did I did? Quite a lot of barefoot, rebounding, the food, and lots of detoxing.
And so you're saying when you did rebounding, it was barefoot rebounding. You had nothing, no shoes on, and on
Mm.
purpose so you could have contact with the rebounder.
Yes, yes,
And
yes. So yeah, I did some sun gazing. Um, I was different things. I was more open. I found, to be honest, Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu got me more open to receive. So we can find different tools. I can relate to Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga. Mine was Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu, got me to kind of receive. It's like, I can receive that, as opposed to quickly judge something new or something alien to my awareness. So it was really nice that I realized was the pinnacle of my journey. And when I look back now, I could have prayed and thanked the Almighty or whoever for passing that my way, because that was the pinnacle of my shift. Having a good protocol that really is serving you, so you can especially do it on yourself. So it didn't cost me quite a lot of money keep going to see someone. So yeah, that was the pinnacle of my change. And then the awareness to aspire to listen for symbols, don't shut down. You've been guided. Different topics, people would come my way.
so what I'm hearing from you here, Pete, is that you focused on your physical body and you would reparent yourself with more movement and with more focus on the physical self. Is this correct or not?
Cleansing, definitely, yes. Because if I didn't do the cleansing, for me, I felt in retrospect, I don't feel there would have been any movement. You know, it's like if we was having acupuncture, the meridian flow through our body. So for me, that's what I realized I was doing without really knowing. So physical, yeah, we can find many different ways. However, it's aspiring to get a holistic approach. So the food was so important, as well as a physical movement approach. Could have been dance, could have been 5 rhythms. It could have been many different things, but the rebounder didn't do I could have done more rebounding, but the Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu for me was a pinnacle. I was am a very physical person anyway. So there was lots of chopping of wood, carrying wood. You know, I was doing other carpentry kind of work. So I'm generally physical person.
So it's interesting that you're saying that chopping of wood, because it's actually the way that people used to be originally. If you wanted to be warm, you went and you chopped wood. If you wanted to cook your food, you went and you chopped wood. So we have a different society now where we don't have to go out and do anything much for ourselves. We can order things in.
Mm.
So do you think that has changed us from being healthy? The fact that everything is right at our doorstep now?
Massively. I feel I saw in myself how lazy I got. So it was really nice returning back to simplicity and really providing for myself. At the time, I was more I would say off grid. I did have electric, but off grid in terms of a house. So it was so nice. Had a space with a compost toilet. We did some growing. So the chopping of wood for the fire in the big static we had, as well as the sauna. So there was a lot of chopping going on. And it's so true. Even if I was feeling cold, by 5 minutes of chopping, your inner core gets warm. So I really got lazy, and I can see it with a lot of us. We've got very lazy, and there's so much enjoyment once you get through. I would say a mindset, and it's so healthy for my child, my spirit, and for my physical well-being. So yes.
So a lot of people I hear criticizing children as being lazy now, and I think, but they only learn from us.
Mm,
And we've set up
definitely.
society, so all they have to do is just use their thumb on the phone,
Mm,
and they get whatever they want within a moment's notice. So they learn from us. If we do that, then and we cannot criticize them because that's what we do. So when I reparented myself, the way that I did it was I actually did it during my teenage years. And I always thought anyway that the moon and the stars and the actual trees were parenting me. I didn't see them as human beings. Human beings were just in my way as far as I was concerned. So, but I wanted to parent myself more. And I got very, very influenced by a Greek philosopher who was also, I think he was a leader of Greece. And his name was Marcus Aurelius. And it was a very interesting because I'm going to bring up something right now that I think all of us who parent or when we're reparenting ourselves, because I think we need to reparent ourselves before we can become parents of a very much higher scale, a very high level, or this parent that we wish to be. And this is what I use specifically in reparenting myself. And he said, Marcus Aurelius, when you wake in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood and birth, but the same mind and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness. The one that stuck with me was, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. So when we're upset about things that children are doing, I think we ought to remember this when we're parenting our children. Nor can I feel angry at my child, nor hate him. Now, why did I bring this on? Because I was very influenced by Marcus Aurelius. In fact, when I started high school, I was elected as the actual librarian. They would elect one of the students to be the actual head librarian for the students. And I was elected as that because I spent hours in the library just studying Marcus Aurelius. And this is how I got exposed to Stoicism, which I think is a very important background for parenting. So what is Stoicism exactly? It is an ancient Greek philosophy which the Romans took on and really used a lot, that emphasizes personal ethics and practical wisdom. And Stoicism is based on the idea that external events are beyond our control. This is what I use to reparent myself. And I think when we start parenting children, if we remember that whatever they do is beyond our control, what is under our control is how we respond to them or to whatever ensued with them. I think this will make us bring us to a whole different level of parenting. So a core element of Stoic philosophy is focusing on one's energy and well-being, on what it is that you have entirely within your control. So if you have within your control how you respond to the child. So let's say, and I really like to use this, I've used this before here. If you have a brand new car and you bring it home and you have a carport for it, but it's not enclosed, and the child keeps going there and playing football or cricket or whatever other game, or baseball, whatever, and you keep saying to them, please don't do it in front of the carport because that ball could hit the car. And then you're inside, all of a sudden you hear a huge commotion outside and you run, and the windshield glass of the brand new car is now broken because the child again was playing or by himself or with other children, whatever, in front of the carport and didn't listen to you. What will be your response? And I'm asking this of our audience too. How do you respond? Because our response is usually immediate. If you use this core element of Stoic philosophy, which you focus your own energy and well being on that which you have entirely within your control, which is your response, that will make sure that it's a different response. So, with its emphasis on cultivating strong ethics, on cultivating resilience and mental discipline for ourselves, Stoicism offers parents meaningful guidance on raising children of strong moral character and also raising children to be resilient. Because first, we've got to learn to be resilient in our own world before we can actually, I think, raise children to be resilient. And I think the biggest gift we can give society is to raise children that are resilient. Right now, we're seeing a lot of people who are not resilient at all and are freaking out. We see a lot of drama and trauma just being shut out through social media and on the streets and all over because people have no strong sense of a moral character, because we don't know how to raise children that way, because we were not raised that way, which is why I said we have to reparent ourselves first before we raise other children, whether the children came through us, but they're not of us. If you remember, when we did that first one on parenting, the first show this month on parenting, they come through us, the children, but they're not from us. So if that's from Khalil Gibran, and I suggest that you will go back onto the Being Healthy site on YouTube and look and watch that video, because we keep all the videos and we have them on there if you've missed any of our other shows on parenting. So why is this important? Because as Marcus Aurelius said, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. And I think people who have not reparented themselves, but disliked their parents, who thought they had a really crummy childhood, who feel that their childhood was really misspent or misused, or they were battered, or they were abused during their childhood. I think that when we reparent ourselves, we begin to escape the norm of how to parent. And then we begin to really take our place, not on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. I think this ought to be the real aim of most parents, so that we're not going to be like everybody else. And next week, we have a special guest, Karen Ramsey, who did exactly that. And much to the peril almost of her marriage. And it's very, very important to next week, if you can tune in to listen to her. She has a book on attachment parenting. She totally changed the way that they ate in their families. She changed not just the diet of who they were on a regular basis, but she changed the way she mothered and also the way she nurtured and nurtured children with food and which food she used. So how important do you think when you nurture your children are your food choices? And I'm asking this to the audience as well as to Pete here.
Food choices are fundamental, really fundamental. There's a few things you mentioned there. He sounds like a great guy in Stoicism. I'll have to look that up. I like a lot of his paraphrases. So food choices. On my journey, I realize I'm witnessing different kind of stimulants. It can be classically the phone, computer, but food choices, I can see a child turn sort of not so much into a Jekyll and Hyde, but that kind of scenario. So I think people don't realize, and then they have very wild children or disturbed children. So the food choices for me is fundamental. You know, more my journey over the 17 years. So I share with people our 3-year-old now. It's amazing. She's part of our lifestyle in the garden, just eating spinach, kale, helping us juice, loves doing the juicing. So all this is her norm. So, and the gratitude when we all eat together. We make sure we're all sitting down. We're working on that a bit more with her. So there is a good structure there. So food choices is so critical, because I've seen, honestly, our daughter has not even had chocolate yet. And some people could think that's absurd, but no. If she had chocolate, she would be bouncing off all over the place. One time we didn't realize we was in Morocco and we was having mint tea. We just presumed it was pure mint tea, and on the beach, she may have had about a teaspoon of it, and then that evening for about 3 hours, she was just like she was on something, and then we did find out they do put a bit of black tea in it. So food choices, you could say that's what I specialize in and share a lot with other people, of my journey and what I found and my experience, and seeing people as if they're on a roller coaster all the time. The biggest thing I find, and what I realize you're taking on in terms of friends and people I've taken on, and my own journey, is we don't want to come into our bodies. So all these stimulants keep us out of our bodies. Hence, why don't we want to come into our bodies? Because there's unresolved stuff we don't really want to look at, trauma, etc. So what I see is we're addicted to being out of our bodies. So we do these silly choices. So I see this 100% the symbiotic relationship, one of many.
So another thing that I want to bring up for raising children is first, when I say we need to reparent ourselves first before we become parents that we think we want to be or we would wish we were, is this quote of Marcus Aurelius here. Like I said, this influenced my entire life, and this is why I am bringing him up all the time. And in this quote, he says, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." So your thoughts determine how you parent your child, your own personal thoughts. Your thoughts really determine how you feel about the child. It's not what the child is doing that determines how you respond or how you feel about the child. It's what you think about yourself. So we were talking last week on the show about whether or not love is important when raising a child. And I said, I didn't think love was important at all. And I know that Blythe disagreed. And I know that a lot of people listening right now will say, of course, love is important if you're raising a child. I disagree. Because what I think is important is far more important than love, is something that is always missing in most childhood and in most parent-child relationships. I think children don't so much need to be loved as to be liked. Most people will say, I love my child, I just don't like them. And a lot of children will say, I love my parents, but I don't like them. I think liking the child exactly as they show up in the present moment and in any given moment is what's most important. Love is not loving in perpetuity. I think love is an emotion. And by parenting emotionally, we actually misuse our position as parents. I think we need to take the emotions out of parenting and instead bring in logic, which is why today I'm bringing up Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism, because I think we need to parent from a place of logic and common sense and not from a place of emotions. I think we ought to first reparent ourselves by liking ourselves. Forget about self-love. That we might never achieve, but to really begin to like ourselves. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what we did that day, no matter what is taking place in our lives that day, to just like ourselves. That to me is far more important, because if you like yourself, your child will like you too. If your child likes you, Oh my goodness, that changes your entire relationship with that child. So, what I am asking people to do today is to learn how to like themselves. That's why I created the course, Being Healthy, because I go through all the different things that is necessary to like oneself there. And I agree with Pete that the food is fundamental. How we nurture ourselves and feeding ourselves is much more critical than loving any specific moment of our lives, because love is fleeting. It's just an emotion, it comes and goes. When you like yourself, it's constant and it is there all the time into perpetuity. What I think is important is for us to rethink what's important in our lives, especially when we become parents, to say, oh, what I want to do is give this child the most loving environment possible. You're not going to be able to do that because, like I said, love is an emotion, and you're giving the child a background and a foundation in emotional rearing, in emotional living. But if you like your child, it's constant. The child never has to question it because they know that who they are is like. They like you, like them exactly who they are, what they are, and what they're doing right now. You like them no matter what they're doing, no matter the fact that they broke the car window that you just bought, even though you've told them many times, please stay away from the carport, and they still went there and they broke that glass. But they still know, when, even though they broke that glass, when you come out, they're going to be punished, but they know that you still like them, even though they broke the window. And the reason why you're punishing them is because you like them. But love is emotionless. And there's no all over the place with, oh my gosh, what are you going to do now? Oh my gosh, my parents, oh, she's going to hate me now. And I hear this all the time. Oh, you're going to hate me now. Because hate is seen as the opposite of love. It's emotionally based. So I think we parent our children from an emotional space and an emotional base and foundation rather than logic. And I think we need to learn how to first reparent ourselves using logic, which is why I'm introducing those of you who do not know anything about Stoicism and don't know anything about Marcus Aurelius. And there are other people in Stoicism as well that you can study as well. It's just that this was the one that I used to reparent myself when I was a teenager. And this is really what has lived with me and stayed with me all my life. This is why I'm not externally oriented. Because in Stoicism, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority who live external lifestyles, who look on the external, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. It is insane to live one's life according to the expectation of others and on what's going on externally. That's what creates all of these ups and downs and all of these mood swings within us. If you're eating according to everybody else, expect mood swings. If you're eating from a place of satisfying other people and having other people feel good about you, you don't like yourself. If you liked yourself, it wouldn't matter that you show up with your fruits or your salad at a family event because you like yourself so much. And when you like yourself, guess what happens? It's an open invitation for others to like you just as you are, showing up with that bowl of fruits, showing up with that salad or whatever it is that you've made, that you know that you're good enough because you like yourself. When you feel that way, others feel the same way about you. Like attracts like. So another reason why I'm focusing on Stoicism today, because with its emphasis on cultivating strong ethics, cultivating resilience, and especially creating mental discipline. See, when you're not in that emotional place of love and hate and whatnot, you can create mental discipline. And so this is why Stoicism offers children meaningful guidance on raising children of strong moral character. And this is why I am saying to you today, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Just become one. Be one, a person whose life is not focused on emotional intake or outtake, on responding emotionally to whatever's going externally, because your whole life is not caught up in what's happening externally. You're coming from the internal space within you where you really like yourself. That's what's important. Begin to create a personhood for yourself that you like, and become that person, and your children will so benefit from it, because they always crave from you the model of how to be in the world. And you're showing them a model now that's not based on emotion, not on love and hate, but on being liked and being stable and being fulfilled in just being yourself. Your fulfillment does not come out from what you do. Your fulfillment in life does not come out from them, but in being yourself. That's the greatest gift we can give children, is for them to accept themselves as they are. And they learn that from us, that who we are is enough for us. Then that must mean that who they are is also enough for us too. And if who they are is enough for us, then who they are will be enough for themselves. So let's go back to Pete here. Pete, how do you think your parenting right now of your, I think, a 3-year-old, correct,
She's nearly 3, yes.
could
Yep.
benefit from this?
Amazingly, I mean, I think it's all great. I'm laughing my head off here, and Hannah knows there's a lot of them techniques, just natural ways I've embodied to a degree, and obviously still embodying. So the biggest one I realize, which is what is being said really, is if our presence. So us as parents is having love, liking ourselves. Even I get caught up in that a little bit, because there's many people have different definitions of love. So I'm so aware how so many people are going to come on that term to love and like. And it is it has so much emotional baggage, so much, and it's used flippantly all over the place. So in terms of really in what you do, shows that you are liking yourself, that you have embraced and come to terms with yourself, whatever you may have done in the past, the day, the hours before in the day. It's at the end of the day not to hang around in that. Ultimately, that can never put you in the now, never put you in the present. And all that is doing is you are just being triggered by some old past story. I'm going to say it's never anything to do with the now, all these triggers. So and then that all comes back down to parents doing the work on themselves to nurture themselves, their inner child, that 99% of us, I believe, has never been nurtured. So we have to revisit that child. Maybe it was 2, 3, maybe it lasted to the age of 3, or I'm not sure. However, it's re-nurturing all them little shocks and traumas that our parents either weren't aware of, didn't have the skills. So we can stop that part of the ancestral nonsense, and we can shift it. And so how does she benefit? She benefits from us doing our protocols, doing what we do every day, which is nurturing ourselves. If we feel ourselves out of balance, she will be a conduit to that. So we support each other in pulling back to that. And if there's some environment, I can't do that because of this environment, well, we would work to shift ourselves from that environment. It's like, well, why would we keep taking the same food that is bringing in toxicity? So we make the change, take the first step to make the change, rather than making all these excuses, because we have many old habitual stories going on, many addictive behavior going on, to not go deeper, to look further in us. So by being the change, being the example, that's how people around us, our children, that's how I see my daughter learning. Going back in terms of now with the car, maybe 17 years ago with my other daughter, with the car screen going, I think I'd be more okay. Going back 30 odd years ago with my boys, I'll probably be a bit peeved. But what I realize is the more we are chilled, the more we're present, more we are relaxed, more we are worked on ourselves, then everything becomes a reflection of that. Another thing you mentioned that reminded me of something is, yeah, the children do become the conduit of our old story, a lot of our unresolved stories. So it's really wise for us to really work on ourselves the best we can. And then as our reactions happen with our children, we have tools to go deeper, to realize, breathe, whatever we need to do, take 10 breaths, breathe, really analyze the situation and get good protocols, theories, stoicism, different protocols to help us on our journey. So the parents really can't stress how much we are. That's why I went on the journey, and that's why I took it to festivals, the food. Realize I was shown, oh my gosh, we are so messed up. And it's great how he says we are the insane. Most of us are insane. And it, to me, it is a bit of a asylum out there. And it's not to put a negative on it. It's just to kind of see what you're in, to amend, or if you're in it, don't be in it for too long, so we can make the changes. It's being authentic in seeing things for what they truly are, to make true decisions, and to be able to have, you could say, intellectual ways of moving through what you're in and coming out of it.
So one of the things I would like to do right now, actually, is to invite Hannah, who's your partner, to come on and give her own interpretation of what it is that we're speaking about here today, which is to stop parenting emotionally and to instead parent from a place of just complete and total likeness of yourself, liking yourself, being okay with yourself, to therefore come from a place of logic and common sense. So with that being said, welcome, Hannah. Hello.
Hi, Dewey. It's so nice to finally talk to you. I feel like I know you already from being behind the scenes. But yeah, so I mean, every day through, I'm a first-time mother with Zola, and every day through parenting her, I'm learning deeper and deeper how to like myself. And yeah, she's just such a conduit to me, especially as the mother, because I'm still breastfeeding, and she's still with me the majority of the time, even though Pete does have her a lot. But yeah, and I really notice that it's always such a reflection of me. For example, she's so much more receptive to me and listens to me when I'm relaxed and calm and liking myself and doing things that make me feel good. However, anytime there's just a hint of emotional turmoil, even when I haven't noticed it myself yet, she is much less receptive to me and is more likely to do things that I don't want her to do, and then it can just raise it. So then it's about me stepping out of those emotions and those triggers that she's bringing up, and putting in the tools to come back to liking myself.
Yes, children reflect our own emotional state.
Oh, absolutely.
If a child is having a tantrum, look within yourself. How have you been actually creating a tantrum within yourself that day? And I don't say feeling a tantrum, but creating it. We create tantrums, whether we realize it or not. And that's because we don't like ourselves. Once we begin to like ourselves, there's no more need for a tantrum, because we're okay. We're okay with whatever shows up. We're fine. And we know we are. The problem is when we don't like ourselves, then everything is a problem, and every issue becomes a trauma and a drama and a reason to actually not like ourselves even more. That is why I'm not into love in any way, shape, or form. It's just all over the place. It takes us in places and spaces where we've been living for the longest while and it has not worked. So why are we repeating the past all the time? We repeat the past by saying, oh, I want my home to be a place of love where children will feel loved. Children will feel loved if you like them. Children brought love into the world with them. They don't need you to teach them love. They already know it. That's what they're bringing to you is love. They don't need love from you. What they need is guidance, understanding, and they need you more than anything to like them the way they are without trying to change them. Because when you like them, you won't try to change them. When you don't like them, you will try to change them. They want to be accepted for exactly the way they are. And just all they need from you is some guidance in this very dense plane in which we're living right now, because they're all of a sudden in this body, in this human body, and they don't know what this is, which is why it's incredible, Hannah, that you're breastfeeding a 3-year-old until they are ready to stop breastfeeding. This is fabulous news. And you'll learn that again next week, too, when we bring on Karen about attachment parenting, why that is so important. So all that we're speaking about today is leading up to that. So I'm trusting everyone, those of you who are tuning in today, you must tune in next week. And also how changing the actual food intake of the child is so very, very important. And as Rumi said, put your thoughts to sleep. Do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking. This is my number one advice to parents. I'm going to repeat this from Rumi. Put your thoughts to sleep. Do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart when you're parenting. The most important advice I can give you when you're parenting is let go of thinking. Just let yourself be. Be okay with who you are. And that's what the child will learn. How to be okay with themselves and with who they are. That's the greatest gift I think we can give children. So would you like to wrap up anything you'd like to say to wrap up here, Hannah?
I think what I'm learning is, what you mentioned a couple of weeks ago is just acceptance and embracing the moment, embracing what's coming up within me, and just keep owning it. There's so many, she's doing this, she's triggering this, but it's just me, just bringing it back to me. It's me, I'm creating it, and she's a reflection and a conduit of me. And sometimes that's not too easy to accept and own. But the more we do that, the more things shift, and the more we can be present, and the more we can get back into that harmony. And even with the breastfeeding, there's been times on the journey where it's like, oh, I think it's time to stop, or just to begin weaning off. And then when I check in with myself, it's just because there's things within me that's bringing up for me to work through. So that's what I'm learning, that just keep working on myself. And also, in our society and Western conditioning is that our perception of love is not really a true essence. So I had to accept in myself, okay, I actually don't really know what love is. And then from that place, I can begin to have glimpses of that and be less emotionally charged and run.
Perfect. What you just said, less emotionally charged, because that's what we equate love with. A lot of emotions. We're all over the place. And I'm going to put up now a quote that's really important, because when you are constantly seeking love, you're going to be very emotionally unstable. And it shows up in everything we do. And if you're going to be a parent, you need to let go of that. And this is another quote by Rumi. If your heart is a volcano, how can you expect flowers to bloom? So to parents, again, I say, if your heart is a volcano, how can you expect your children that are the flowers in your life to bloom? It's not going to happen.
And if your heart's a volcano, then your child's going to be a volcano.
I'll be a bigger one too.
Yeah.
A massive one. Because they learn from you.
Yes.
Because if your heart is a volcano, it means you cannot stand yourself, and you're always angry with yourself. You're always fighting with yourself. You're always in the past, because only in the past do we not like ourselves. That's why it's important to like ourselves, because then we become friends with ourselves in the past as well. And that is critical if you're going to raise children. So the child knows that there's nothing to forgive. They're okay with whatever they did because they're now learning from it, and they're resilient to move beyond it and past it, because they're not a volcano, because their heart is not a volcano, but their heart will become one if yours is. And that's why I brought this quote here today. And I have another quote that I would like to pull up on here. It's by Shannon Adler. And she said, "It is not until you change your identity to match your life blueprint that you will understand why everything in the past never worked." I'm going to repeat this. It is not until you change your identity to match your life blueprint, your new life blueprint, that is, that you will understand why everything in the past never worked. So all this focus on love and all the emotional upheavals, all the drama and the trauma of that is meant, you need to leave it behind once you become a parent. It will no longer serve you because your past didn't. It's now that you can. Is this at all helpful to you, Anna?
Definitely. It's something I'm working on every day. Most of the day, it feels like.
We all must do this, because we are parenting children whether we realize it or not. Whether you pass a child in the store and you just walk past the child as if they're invisible, or whether you stop to say hello, or what I like to do with children is I curtsy to them. They love it when I curtsy. And then I just go on my merry way. And then I turn back, and you should see the look on their face. Try it. You try that with a child, you'll be stunned. Because that is the way I honor them. I curtsy to them. Or I love the Asian way, especially in Japan, of bowing to children. I really love that. And I think we need to start doing more of that. We need to start learning from other cultures how to honor our children and how to be honorable in our own relationship with our children, how to bring honor in there, and honorable moments that we honor, that the child feels honored. When the child feels honored, they respond that way to you as well. And what we're missing in society is exactly that. We're not honoring each other by screaming and yelling and telling people how to be, how to feel, what to say, what to think. It doesn't honor ourselves nor anyone else in our lives. So I think being a parent is one of the most honorable things that we've set ourselves up for. It's to teach us how to be alive, not how to love, as most people think that children come into our lives for. They didn't come here to teach us. They're not here to teach us. They will, by being here, teach us just by from the mere fact that they are, but they don't have a job. Our job is to keep them true to themselves, is to not to take away from them that which they brought up in any second, any given moment. Whatever they brought up, that's their gift to us right then. And it's how we respond to it that's important. So again, with Rumi, put your thoughts to sleep. All the thoughts about you need to learn to love your child or love yourself. Do not let these thoughts cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking. Thinking is where we get into trouble all the time. And as Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man or good woman should be. Just be one. Just let go of all these, I should do this, all the shoulds. I need to do this, I should have done that. Oh, my child did this, da. Because as Marcus Aurelius said, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, which is what the majority are doing, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. And this is the goal of my life. I want my own insanity intact. I don't want others. So thank you, Hannah, for being here. And I would love to have Pete come in as well. I'm such an honor to have you here. Thank you for blessing us with your bright light.
Thank you.
So, everyone, I just want you to be aware that next week we will be back with a guest, a very special guest, and the rest of our co-hosts. And just now, for right now, I want to bring something in that I want to actually share with you. And Pete will talk about this now. That's why I've asked to bring Pete back in here. Pete, whatever is this? Pete, you're actually muted. You need to mute.
Okay, yeah, an event we're doing in June. When I say we're doing, we are taking our calf there. So we will be having our lush raw gourmet enzyme rich foods there, and the delightful me and Hannah and potentially 5 other delightful people. There's so many amazing things there. Crops Not Shops are doing such an amazing project work. I mean, they are just doing it very much to not train. They're just doing it. Been there 3 years. What they've achieved in 3 years is amazing. So this most of this money goes to a school they're doing there. Good friends with the co-founder, and they have so much there. If you look on the flyer, there's workshops, there's talks, there's some good music, good food, and it's very family orientated. It's camping as well. So yeah, try and come along, and you can obviously get to receive some of our delights too. And I'm sure we can have some good chats. I'm not muted.
Are you providing the food for this?
Right. Just I didn't hear you. Me, our calf, and another calf. They have the community calf. There might be the odd small store here and there, but we would be doing a big part of it.
Where will it be and when?
It's just outside Glastonbury, and it's the 19th to the 21st of June. 23rd, apologies.
Since we are global, Glastonbury, everyone is in England. It's in the Great Britain. So explain exactly where is Glastonbury in England, please.
Somerset Way. So yes, Somerset, Glastonbury. It's very well known, Glastonbury, in terms of let's just say in terms of ley lines, meant to be the heart chakra of the world, twin place to a place in Ethiopia, forgotten the name, Lalibela. So yeah, Glastonbury is an amazing place to visit as well. So there's so much, many things you could do before, after, and literally it's 5-10 minutes outside Glastonbury. So we did this event 2 years ago, and it was such a joy doing it. I'm not sure if I just did say the most of the money is going to, or the funding for a school, and the homeschooling. So it's a beautiful project. It's such a beautiful seed of a lot of what we are talking about, and home education, communities, going back to what we really used to know. So that's the dates, and they've got
Could you please repeat the dates, Pete?
Yes, 19th to the 23rd of June, Glastonbury, England. So it should be all there. It's a beautiful family event, really beautiful family event. No drink, alcohol, drugs, etc. So yes, it's a beautiful event, beautiful protocol, what they're doing, beautiful. They plan to have many over England. They would love to go global. They have opportunities to go global. So it's bringing in community-based homeschooling and the food, the protocol with whatever owners they go and approach. 50%, whatever community they are in, goes to the people in need, food banks, mothers, single mothers. So 50% goes free to them.
So what can people expect to do in those 2 days? What can people look forward to in those 2 days?
3 days? 3 days.
3 days. Sorry.
4 days. Apologies.
4 days.
I should have
by the moment.
Really, you need Che on here opposed to me. But so what have they got? They've got workshops. I mean, they can be busy all day. Different workshops. They've got Charles Dow. What is his name now? Charles Dowden. He's the kind of no dig policy. He has a no dig policy. He's well known, so he'll be doing a talk on no dig growing. There's many other talks. To be honest, I haven't really kind of looked too much on it, but very permaculture based. There'll be, I'm sure, talks on homeschooling. There's workshops on craft, many craft workshops, bands, kids area.
And what kind of food will you be making for the event, you and Hannah?
Well, we would do a variety of stuff. So we'd probably be doing the raw pizzas, lasagna, tacos, falafel, burgers.
And none of this is cooked, right? All of the things you just stated, they're not cooked. They're living foods.
They're living foods, all raw. Been taking this calf for about 15 years to festivals. Wasn't going to be doing more like this, but because I really do like their project and I really love to support what they're doing, so we chose to do this and bring our food to this place. So it would be lots of their veg from their own crop, our veg. So it'd be organically grown, no pesticides. So it'd be amazing. We'll have all our sprouts and mung beans and seeds, and there is a lot to offer there, really. So we will be doing that. We will have a variety of raw banoffee pie, raw vegan banoffee pie, raw vegan apple pie, raw vegan cheesecake, raw vegan orange cake, chocolates, tall. We will do a chocolate one for the chocolatier people, but we generally do carob brownies, energy balls. Yeah.
Glad you're doing carob instead of, because most people are into chocolate, and
I know. I was for about 10 years. I come off. I managed to come off. So we do our own sauerkraut, kimchi, and Rejuvilac is really interesting one. I've been doing that over the last month. I'm really finding some really interesting movement going on in my body with that and the sprouts, them to literally from the high enzymes in both of them. It's really shifting some things in my body, which is nice too. So I'm still witnessing that, watching that, monitoring that. So we'll be having so much of our food there. The other calf they will still have the veg from the garden, so it'll all be organic. It's all vegan. So it's a vegan event. So it's a beautiful event to go to.
So this again, the dates again are? Can we start
19th of June to the 23rd. So it's 4 days.
Wonderful 4-day event coming up soon on the 19th of June.
And you get to see what they're doing. It's a beautiful mandala of crops. It's just beautiful. So much love or likeness, prayer.
Well, thank you so much, Pete. I'm so glad that Hannah came on today. Hannah, wherever you are, I honor you and I thank you. And everyone, tune in again next week. Thanks to Pete for being on today. And we will see you with our special guest, Karen Ramsey, next week. And also spread the word, because people need to know that there's a different way to parent. Thanks, everyone.